Hey everybody, it's Cauliflower Man here. I'm bringing you another game of Battleborn. In this game I'm playing as Deande, and notice right at the beginning of the match, the first thing I do is I jump from the double thralls over to their thumper, and I take out their thumper. As a Deande, you've got a lot of maneuverability, so my favorite thing to do at the beginning is take out their thumper, take out their accelerator. Then I like to kind of sit back here in this area right here. The sentry can't attack you here, and you can attack the minions. One thing to remember, I think I kill all these minions here. It's not always a good idea to do this just because you take all the experience from your team, but I just do this to the first minion wave, and then I jump back and I'm going to go help my team out. But this area right here is a great spot to stay. I've got my cloak if someone does come attack me, and then I'm just going to jump over the top of this little barrier right here. That way the sentry's not going to attack me when I come back. And so as you can see, I've got a good angle on the entire enemy team, so I come in here and I start doing damage to this Galilea, and she has no idea where I'm at because no one expects me to be behind them. So I almost kill Galilea there, end up leaving her. If you can see, the rest of the team here is not doing all that well, but obviously you always want to first focus on that healer, so I go straight after that Miko. Miko's down, and now they're going to be in a lot of trouble because they've got a lot of weak enemies. I've taken out most of their stuff in the back. It looks like they just built up their supply station, but with Deande, the best way to play her is come out real strong at the beginning, push into the enemy lines a little bit, and then really screw up the enemy defenses, and then just keep it going. She has a lot of capability at level 1 that other characters do not, so definitely take advantage of that. And obviously later on she gets a lot stronger with her ultimate at level 5, and you'll get a slowing ability after you come out of cloak that'll make it really hard for enemies to get away from you if they're weak. One thing to remember when you play Deande is she's kind of like a Pendles, in that you have invisibility and you can slow enemies, and so if somebody gets weak, sometimes it's good to use your invisibility and go back and follow them to their spawn, or not to their spawn, but follow them until you've got a good opportunity to kill them. But like I said, stay way back in the enemy lines when you're a Deande. Even though there's a lot of people by me right here, all I have to do is go invisible real quick, and then what do they have against me? Nothing. And there's still 3 people around me, but I'm not stopping just because Deande's got a lot of damage, and so I get a double kill there, and then I just finish up this Galilea here. So like I said, a Deande's got a lot that she can do, so play her very aggressively. So we've only been in here for 3 minutes and I'm already level 4. I've almost got my ultimate. We're just kind of crushing this enemy team, and that's the way I really like to go out and do it. A lot of people who play Battleborn try to play real defensively. I think that's a terrible strategy. One, because it's just boring. Why not be a badass if you can be a badass? And then 2, because the enemy team rarely expects you to push that hard. We've killed their first sentry in basically 3 minutes, and I think we've got like 10 kills overall, so they're really in trouble right now. It's going to take them the full game to make up that deficit, just the deficit of experience we have, and then the all that damage that we've done to their sentry. So always make sure when you're playing Battleborn, play very aggressively. Playing defensively, that's a thing that a lot of people like to do on Overwatch just because that's the way you play the game. You don't do that in Battleborn. You want to play aggressively. Obviously, you have to be intelligent when you play aggressive, because if you overextend yourself, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. And if you are playing Battleborn on a really high level, you will not push exactly as much as I am pushing here. You kind of have to know who you're playing, but at a high level it's a little more defensive than I'm showing, but very few people play at that high of a level where you have to be very defensive. And again, always remember to use those jumps with Deande. Those jumps save you so much, and so you can go in there, you can get way deep with Deande. So long as you have your jump, just jump out of there and you're good to go. That's really the way I like to play her. So that's the end of this video. Let's go ahead and look at the next. So for the second video, it's same map. We're playing Incursion on Overgrowth. This time I'm playing with a Beatrix, and one thing that I want to point out is when you use Beatrix's Patient 0 on Deande, before she's level 3, Deande has 15% lifesteal, so Patient 0, once Beatrix gets leveled up to like level 3 as well, will give an extra 30% lifesteal. So that gives Deande a total lifesteal of 45% before Deande's level 3, and then after Deande's level 3 it'll be a lifesteal of 55% while increasing attack speed by something like 50%. It's ridiculous. So Deande becomes insane, and it doesn't matter how much damage someone's doing to you, as long as you're attacking them back, you're not going to die when Beatrix uses a Patient 0. You're going to watch me kill a Montana with Patient Zero later on in this game, and we just melt through them. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But anyways, the one thing that you always need to remember as a Deande, or basically as any character, if you can see that thumper in the background, that thumper is really going to cause us a lot of trouble. So I'm going to have to take that thumper out. I have a cloak, so when that cloak comes back I'll be able to do it, but as you could see it slowed me down whenever I was attacking that sentry, and slow is one of the worst things you can have happen to you in this game. So I'm waiting for my hollow twin to come back, and then I'm going to go take out that sentry. I get a kill in the meantime, but or not kill that sentry, I'm going to go kill that thumper, because we need that thumper down to kill the sentry. You can see that we're doing quite a bit of damage to the sentry, but you can't really push out into that open area until that thumper's down without getting slowed, and if you get slowed out in an open area in front of the sentry, you're going to get crushed. That sentry does a huge amount of damage, so always make sure to take out this thumper. The best way to do it is not with a Deande. It's usually with someone who can shoot and just shoot it from afar, but obviously Deande's range attack, her secondary, it's not very accurate from range, so what I wanted to do was just use that hollow twin and use my cloak to get up there and then take it out. And then one of my favorite moves in this game is taking or stealing the enemy team's thralls. With Deande it's real easy to do, because in case you screw up and you get swarmed by the enemy team, you use your hollow twin, get the crap out of there before the enemy team can kill you. And because she has lifesteal, you're not going to take all that much damage. I'm level 2 here, and the thrall hardly hurt me at all. So it's always a good thing to do. And then always remember too with Deande that staying back behind enemy lines is a great thing. You have a lot of survivability because of the jump, or because of your offhand melee attack that propels you really high up into the air. If I needed to, I could have ran away from that Montana by jumping up back towards their first sentry, but I'm not really that worried about him. What I really want to do is kind of watch my thrall attack the sentry, but as you can see, the thrall ran right by it. They have a tendency to do that until they get attacked by the sentry, which is kind of stupid. Gearbox needs to fix that, but it's not a huge issue, I suppose, because even with the thrall in there, it's still distracting the enemy team and it's taking out the enemy minions, so it's helping us out quite a bit. And then as you can see, I stay up here near the enemy team's heal station, just because as long as I'm up there, they either have to deal with me or let me attack their sentry, and if they deal with me, then my allies are open to attack the sentry, so either way, it's not a good choice for them. Whatever they choose, there's a lot of drawback to both choices, so I always try to play so that no matter how you react to what I'm doing, you make some sort of mistake. And so when you're behind enemy lines with Deande, that's just a great way to do it. And then we're coming up here on this second sentry here, and then again I just start doing a bunch of damage to all these people here. One thing to remember, whenever you're attacking minions, it didn't really apply all that much there because I had full health, but if you're low health and you attack minions with Deande, you can heal most of your health back through her life steal. Just remember that when you melee attack a minion, it gives them a bit of a flinch, and by that I mean for like a second they jump back and they can't attack you. So with a melee character who has lifesteal, you can actually get a lot of lifesteal from minions, and they won't be able to attack you back because they're flinched by your attack. So that's really how you want to get that lifesteal on there. And then one other thing with Deande is if you can open up that crit spot on a sentry, a lot of people don't really know this, but because you heal 25% of the damage you do, and you're going to be hitting over 200 on that crit spot, you're going to be healing 50 per hit, so it doesn't matter if people attack you. If you're attacking the sentry's crit spot, they're going to have a lot of trouble killing you. But anyways, that's me playing Deande, and as you can see, we did very well. Just always remember, she's kind of a mix between a Pendles and a Wrath. You can't put, or you can push farther forward than a Wrath, and you're like a Pendles with less cloak, but you have quite a bit more damage.